Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hi, Antonia. Hi, Heather. Good morning, Karen. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Jesse. Hey, Ray. It's good to see you. Good to see you all. How are you guys doing this morning? Can you believe it's already Friday? Like, where did that week go? My goodness. My goodness. Wanted to check in with you guys. We had a great class. There were some great questions in there and wondering how the homework went. I know Antonia, you had a question. I hope I was able to answer that in the chat, but really just wanted to check in to see how things are going. I can't believe we're at week 11. Hey Trina, good to see you. Hi Kelly. Good morning. So if you guys this time is all about you and to help answer your questions. I'm feeling so excited for you guys. I know some of you have already taken your test, which is so cool. Jessie took her test, Heather took her test. Good job, good job. And yeah, so does anyone have any questions? How's the homework going? How are you feeling? How are you doing? How are things going? You can just come off mute if you want, or just raise your hand. I am just so thrilled. I can't believe, has any of you, I know Heather, you started earlier. So have you started the elder care or care consulting?
Well, I started the elder care probably a
Okay.
couple of months ago, but I only got through two because I said I'm getting the gist that I'm just supposed to be doing the first section. So that's what I thought,
Good.
I better focus on that first and just kind of leave that to
Perfect.
the side. So I did. But yeah, I'm looking forward to moving on to the other two. I feel a lot better since I took the test.
Good.
It
Good.
took a lot of anxiety right out of me.
Good. Good. Good.
Yeah, I'm not a test taker, and so I was like, oh no, what am I gonna do? And I just said, you know what, Christine and Suzanne and Erica, all of you have been so wonderful. You have just been, like I said to my sister, I wish I had had this kind of support when I was growing up. I wish I had had that. I would have really excelled in life.
Oh,
So I'm here because I'm supposed to be here. So that's where I am. But the homework, yeah, every week it was kind of like, oh, it would get like, oh no, something else piled on. Oh no, what am I going to do now? And trying to navigate through Canada, and the Canadians way is just been a little more difficult for me. So when I'm speaking about things in the US, I have no problem. But
yeah.
in Canada, I'm kind of going, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I'm not really sure. What do they call it? And Kelly up in Peachland had made that pretty clear that, yeah, we just have to get our wording right in Canada because they changed the wording a bit and titles. And so that makes it a little more difficult when you ask for something and they say, what are you talking about? And you're thinking, oh, this is not good. So anyway, yeah, it's been a process, but it's going. And I got my police report finally, and they got that, got that done. And so I've just got to start pounding on doors and seeing where can I, where can I get this or that, and I'm free. I'm here to help. So, and to
Yeah.
observe.
Good. Good. Were you able to and thank you, Kelly, for that assistance with Heather. So were you
Yeah.
able to look at that document for in the Canadian document because it does have some links to okay, what did you find that helpful? Okay. Okay.
It was, and then it wasn't. It was just kind of, I don't know. I just felt like more being piled on. I was trying to get too many things done at once in one
Sure.
week, and then
Sure.
I went, oh boy, how about the week before? And then the week before that, I was like, oh, just stay on top of it. Stay on top of it. You'll be all right,
Yeah,
And
yeah, 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 yeah. And I
so,
think so. I'm guilty of that too. I have. Oh, I'm just shamefully like sticky notes everywhere, right? And so I'm just going to show you. Well, it's not right here, but I have something called a Clever Fox. It's called Clever Fox Pro, and it's a pretty substantial. think it's in the other room. It's a pretty substantial planner, and you can start in the middle of the year, you can start anytime, but you fill out your own dates. And, of course, it has this calendar on it, but then in the back of the planner is like to-do lists. And so I've really been intentional about putting my things on this. And and it's really helped me move the needle. And then, if I don't get to something, I just move it over. And then that one that I keep moving over, I have to kind of sit with myself and say, okay, this is the one that I really don't want to do, but when I make that first on my list, then I get it done. I was like, what was I stressing out about? It was, it just took some time, and really just setting some time apart. And I've been trying to be real intentional about just doing an hour, half 3 minute, 30 minutes, or an hour a day, and then just put it aside, and then if something comes up, then just add it to my planner. And that's really been a powerful tool for me. And it can be anything, that works for you guys. But I think it is easy because, I think us women have several several tabs in our brain, and it's just like many tabs are open. And so for me to get it down, and then be intentional about how I'm going to spend my time, it really has been helpful. So, and it's easy to get
Yeah.
overwhelmed. It's really easy because there's a lot. But then again, it's not a race, it's not a competition. It's just all in perfect timing. Give yourself some grace. You guys have done amazing. I'm so proud of you, Heather. I'm so proud of
Oh,
you doing it.
well, I am too. I'm especially at my age. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, look at you! Look what you're doing. This is good.
Mm,
So,
yeah,
and just getting organized
yeah.
because I haven't been a student for so many years, and so just being organized and every week, saying be on top of it, be on top of it, and having it all there and in different folders and what I need. It's really been helpful, and sometimes I surprise myself with how organized I can be because I kind of anal about that. I want everything perfect. And I'm not
Oh,
happy with fail. I'm not happy. I
yeah,
like to have everything go well,
yeah,
and I like to be able to, because I set standards so high for myself, and it drives me crazy. But that's who I am, and I don't think it's ever going to go away. So I just kind of have to calm it down and just be organized and just say, hey, you're doing the best you can with what you have. So go for it. But
good, good. I'm so proud of you. And I was thinking, Karen, you had shared with my one of my at one of my teas, I'm so glad that you're here because I've been trying to remember the gentle art of the art of gentle Swedish death cleaning. And in that there's the three P's, and I know that there's procrastination, and I know there's paralysis. Can you share again those three P's? Do you remember those? Oh, let's unmute you.
We overanalyze. The other thing is analysis leads to paralysis. But yeah, the three P's, let's see if I can remember them. Procrastination, paralysis, and what did you just say the other one was, Christine? Procrastination, paralysis, and perfectionism.
Yeah, that's the first
Yes,
one. Yep.
when we're and I think a lot of women tend to be perfectionists, and then we get stuck because we can't get it just right. And I know my father-in-law was that way in their house. They were hoarders because he just couldn't get it right. And so he would worry so much about everything that things would just pile up. And so anyhow, it's a beautiful book about death cleaning. And so if you have not read it, I would highly recommend that for yourself and for your clients too, because it's very powerful.
So tell me again. I kind of messed up the name. It's the art of gentle.
The gentle art of Swedish death cleaning.
Perfect. So the three P's are perfectionism,
Pro, procrastination
procrastination.
and paralysis.
Perfect. Yeah. I could really relate to that because I think that that's what happens to me is that I get a little overwhelmed and I want to just do everything, and then I just pause, and then it just becomes paralysis. And then in another way that I look at it just for my own my own way of just being like, oh my gosh, I feel really overwhelmed. And so there's this state of contraction. So I kind of go within, and then all of a sudden it's like this expansive state that happens. And so when that happens, it's like this beautiful being in that state of flow. And then things just line up. But I think sometimes we have to just take a moment. Okay, this is a lot. Take a breath, and then things start opening up again. So all of it. Thank you, Karen, and thank you, Heather, so much. So Ray, it's good to see you.
Good,
Hi there.
good to
Good
see you
morning.
too, all of you. Yeah, I plan on taking the test today, so I'm a little nervous about it. So did you say it was true and false? All the questions are true and false?
Some are multiple choice and some are true or false. Yeah.
Okay,
There's no.
those are two of my worst. The ones I don't like. Give me an essay any day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Um, so I'm going through the notes and going through everything. And that something came up in the last module, um, where Suzanne was talking about the advanced directive. It's a legal document, but not legally binding. Did I hear that right?
It is a legal document, and I think some would beg to differ if that it is legally binding. It is. So it's there are no you don't when you have even you don't have to have anyone sign it except for your witnesses, and so it should uphold in court. However,
Yeah.
the ultimate deciding factor, knowing after Sharon, oh, Antonia's got the book. That's awesome. Thank you, Antonia. Do you want to put that in the chat? Would you be able to put that in the chat? Perfect. Thank you, Antonia. So, the most or the post or post form is actually the most ultimate legal document. So you could consider the advance directive being a legal document because everyone does have to abide by your wishes. So, but I think Suzanne wanted to bring home the point that it can be, not always, it doesn't happen very often, but a doctor can override the advance directive. So,
Yeah.
so it is a legal document
Yeah.
that the whole country's using.
Right. With my mother, excuse me, the doctors didn't, um, they said that it didn't matter. They didn't, when it came down to it, like when she had surgery, they said, no, we have to resuscitate. Um, with a lot, there was just a lot of things that they talked me out of doing, and I stood strong, but I had to fight for it. And and I didn't always win. So I wondered what the heck. But I guess my questions arise, and I know as that happens, we're talking with people. We don't know what a doctor's going to say ahead of time. It's not a true or false situation. So in taking the test, if it says, is it a legal document? Well, yeah. Is it binding? Well, no. And so these questions, just in thinking of taking that test, it's like sometimes it could be both ways.
Yes, yes.
So that was my question. And then the other question was, and you just mentioned it, you said, and Suzanne mentioned it, but it's a post form.
hmm
What is that? I missed that.
So, it's called several different things. Here in Idaho, it's a post form, which is POST. I think in New York, it's a POLST. I think, is that right, Antonia? No, is it a MOLST? Okay, so there's a POLST, POLST, or a MOLST, MOLST. They're all different because each state has their own um, forms. And here in Idaho, it's called POST, POST, and it's the physician order of life-sustaining treatment, or that would be a POST. But it is typically when someone has that form, they either bring it into their doctor or the doctor has it in their office. And typically, those are the ultimate legal document. And Sydney has one right there. It's usually a bright pink that gets posted on the door, and it is the ultimate legal document for life sustaining treatment. So if someone does not want any further treatment, not DNR, that one will be upheld in court and it is signed by a physician. So those
Oh,
are your ultimate, that's the ultimate legal document. So typically, when someone gets admitted into hospice, the post or most or post form gets signed by the admitting doctor, and it gets posted on the door so that when EMS is called, they know what their DNR status is, and it will be upheld in court. So
and that will be upheld, huh? So where do they get, does hospice do they get the form from hospice or do we have those forms?
you can actually go to your Secretary of State or Health and Welfare. In Idaho, it's the Health and Welfare Department where you can print off the post or most form. Actually, let me go. Let me. I think when I have one on my desktop. Yeah. So let me pull up this. Um, I'll just screen share real quick and show you what the Idaho one looks like.
Okay,
Can you guys see my screen okay?
yes.
Okay. So this is, um, let me minimize that. Let me see if I can make it bigger. Well, I can't make it bigger. So this is, let me get rid of that thing up there. So up at the top, it says physician order Idaho Post form. It's portable medical orders. And so you can actually bring these forms in with you to the doctors. Like if you have a doula client who's ready to do this, you can bring it in and you just fill out the top portion. And then the bottom portion will be filled out by the physician. And so you can choose one. This one says no CPR or yes CPR, including medical, ventilation, defibrillation, and cardioversion. So that would be like a full code. The treatment
Mhm.
orders say comfort focused treatments, which, you know, use, you can use oxygen suction, anything used to manage airway. And then there's selective treatments. So using non-invasive positive airway pressure, antibiotics, IV fluids, avoid intensive care, transfer to hospital if treatment needs cannot be met in the current location. So this is selective treatment, and I have to pause on this one because not everybody who has a post or most form, you know, like when people get put on hospice, they're terminal and life expectancy is less than 6 months. But some folks are choosing to do this form who are not on hospice. And I think that you have to really be mindful when people are filling out this form because someone does have a terminal diagnosis. They may be receiving palliative care for support. They may be seeking treatment, in conjunction with getting focusing on quality of life, but they may still be receiving treatment. So they could have this post form. If they fall and break a hip, would they want treatment?
Um,
Maybe so.
yeah,
So I think that one might select selective treatment if they fall and they injure themselves and they need stitches. Of course, they're going to be transported to get that treatment, and then you can go back home and continue your life. But the full treatment does say that provide appropriate medical and surgical treatments as indicated, so including intensive care. So to me, there's some options there, and then, whoops, and then there's some specific instructions that you can write in, and then there's medically assisted nutrition. So you can say no artificial means of nutrition. You can have feeding through tubes. Just you could check this trial period for nutrition. But so it's a little bit more extensive. So I hope that helps. So I think that going to your health and welfare or the Secretary of State should have some kind of form for either the advanced directives and then the most imposed form. So you can bring those with you with your clients, have
okay.
that most of it filled out. Some doctors may not even, some family practice doctors may not even be aware of those forms, but it's helpful to say, hey, I have this form. Would you take a look at it? And but when someone gets admitted on hospice, they always will have a postform.
Okay, okay, okay. Sounds good. It's confusing, but it sounds good.
Yeah, yeah. So the poster, most, or post are legally binding.
They are
Period.
legally binding. They are
Yeah,
legal form. Okay,
yeah. No
okay.
one can
Yeah,
override that.
yeah. Somehow I missed that in the lessons. Um,
Okay.
so just one more on
Yeah.
concerning the test.
Yep. You
Oh God.
got this, Ray. You'll be surprised. You know the information. You've been following along.
Yeah.
You Yeah, you'll be surprised. Yeah, you
Okay.
know it.
All right. Because it is a closed book. We're not supposed to use our notes. Is that correct?
You know it's on your honor, and
But
and
my honor to use my books or my honor not to use my books?
I would encourage you to try to take the test without your notes, but if you
Okay.
need to refer your notes, you're welcome to. We aren't the doula givers final exam police, right? This is on your honor. I would just encourage you to, if you want to have your notes handy, you're welcome to, but I think that you'll be surprised that the answers, like, you have been going to class every day, you've been joining us. I mean, you've gone above and beyond in being present, and if you have listened to her videos and you have gone through all of the modules, you know the material, you're going to be surprised. Yeah,
Okay.
there's not a lot of trick questions. What I encourage you to do is just get into a nice quiet space, allow yourself an hour. You can take the test as many times as you want. So and I think that you need an 85% to pass. And it'll tell you right away, great, you did it. And
Oh,
then,
okay.
yeah, you're no rush. I think you're gonna do great, Ray. I promise. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, I look forward to being surprised.
Uh, yeah. You're
All
gonna
right.
do great.
Well,
Good,
and
good
thank you. And
luck.
thank you for all your help and all your coaching and all your support. It means a lot. A lot.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, I'm so excited for each of you guys. I just love how excited you are, and you're going to do amazing work where you're at. So, yeah. Plus,
Thank
I'm going to meet you in Winnemucca. I got to see Catherine earlier this week. She blew through Boise, and we had a coffee, and it was lovely.
Oh,
So,
how
I'm
fun.
in,
Well, I can't
yeah.
wait. Yeah.
Me too. Me too. Thank you, Ray. All
Thanks.
right, Jesse, I see you have your hand raised, but I don't see you. Let's see, where'd you go, Jesse? Are you there? Okay, let's go to Kelly. Maybe Jesse stepped away for a moment. Hi, Kelly, it's good to see you.
Hello. Thank you.
Hi.
Hi. Hi, Heather. I was just going to say in British Columbia, anyway, ours is a most form. And I've been working closely with a friend who has lung cancer that metastasized to his brain. So he ended up in the hospital about 2 months ago. And I had to ask his doctor to put the most form in place, and we were in emergency, and then I asked for a copy of it, and he got sent up to a room. So we got up there, the most form never showed up. A week later he was being discharged, so I asked the discharge nurse for a copy of the most form to take home. She didn't get it. She came in again. I asked a second time, didn't get it. Had to ask another nurse, so I had to ask 3 times to get it. It was really frustrating, and I didn't want him going home without that. And then in British Columbia, and I don't remember if Suzanne's ever talked about it, we have what's called a green sleeve. I don't know how to show this.
Okay.
So
Oh, yeah,
it's,
right there.
yeah, magnetized on the back, and it goes in your fridge, and then you put your most form in there and
Right.
your advanced directive. So those are available and very handy. Um,
Great.
yeah. So this friend now, you know how you're supposed to meet your clients where they're at? It is so hard because now his brain tumor has got him just not making sense. And, he's got these blister packs of pills, and I spend the night with him, and I wake up in the middle of the night. He's pushing out the blister pack. The pills are in a pile on a table. So well, he's on the palliative care program now. So the nurses came in the other day, and now we have his drugs in a lockbox. They have to come 3 times a day to administer them. And and it's very interesting. So they also have a a kit that they send home with people, kind of like the hospice care kit. I haven't seen it yet, but I guess it's got morphine and stuff like that in it. And I was asking the nurse if it's color coded like you guys do in the States, and it's not. And she said, "Oh, that's a really good idea." So that was interesting.
Mm,
Yeah.
interesting. I love that idea of it being magnetized. And is it actually going inside the fridge
No, it's supposed to
on
go
the
on the
outside?
outside of it,
Mhm,
but my
mhm.
friend, he does, well, actually his fridge, it doesn't magnetize on it, so we have it inside, and he's
Okay.
very fussy. He doesn't want anything showing on the outside. So,
Oh, got it. Got it. Got it. Got
yeah.
it. Oh, that's awesome. I learned so much just by talking to you all about how other places are doing it differently. Still effective, it's working well. And as long as the entire team and EMS knows about where to look for that information. And yeah, it's so good. It's so good. It's so good to hear how other people are doing it. Well done, Kelly. Gosh, that's so hard too when someone is in that stage of, yeah, I had a client who was living at home and she had lung cancer and it had metastasized to her brain and she wanted to die at home and it was painful to watch and she kept falling and she kept over taking her medications and social workers were really trying to get her placed. She was adamant about staying at home and her son was a couple of hours away and she was doing the very best that she could, but and financially she couldn't go into a facility and so they were working on that. It was just a hard situation, but anyway, yeah, we
Oh,
just try to do the best we can.
one more
Yeah, go ahead.
thing about him is
Yeah.
he is signed up for medical assistance in dying.
Mm-hmm.
And because he has the brain tumor, he could lose capacity. So as soon as we found out he had a brain tumor, I got in touch with the doctor and she came and he's now signed a waiver of final consent. So with that, he needed to choose a date, and this doctor will go 3 months in advance. So he's got a date of September 7th chosen. So if he loses capacity, then MAID will be done on September 7th. If he's still fine, it can be extended. And if he really loses it before then, we can call it in earlier. So
Okay.
very blessed, very happy to have those options here in Canada.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yep, everything in order,
Yeah.
sounds like he's got a great support system. I'm really glad for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
All right.
hard though. Thank you so much. I
Yep.
appreciate that. Oh, all of that is so good. All right, Antonia, good to see you. Hi.
Hi, everybody. I
Hi.
missed everybody. I wasn't here on the 27th because I was traveling and then we didn't meet last week. So it feels like forever.
It does feel like forever.
So good to be back. Um, okay, so I am still trying to figure out this whole living will thing in New York because it's not on the state website, which is just making me nuts. And I've had a couple of conversations with people and I just haven't gotten anywhere. So I was just wondering just if anybody has any advice about how to get to the bottom of, like, I don't have the resources to hire a lawyer. When I did this for my parents, they did a will, and then in the will, but we paid a lawyer. They did a will, and in the will they did their living will. But I don't think it's necessary, but the forms are not on the New York State website, so it's just really confusing.
I can understand your confusion. And New York sounds like I was trying to go back to the classroom. I couldn't remember which one it was, but Suzanne was actually in the classroom and she wrote in the chat that because she lived in New York and she was helping people with advanced directives often. And so I'm just going to open up a Facebook group. And so it sounds like, I'm just going to read what I posted. Did you see in
Did
the
Sydney
chat?
just put Sydney is the living will in that 5 wishes document? She just held up the 5 wishes.
It's in many states and in New York, I believe as well. In fact, I can look in it. It is considered a living will. You don't have
Okay.
to have a living will made by an attorney. If you have
Okay.
the 5 wishes or the form from the conversation, or they treat it as a living will, and I'll stick it in the chat, but I'll look on here and make sure that it's legal in New York. I know it's legal
Okay.
in Massachusetts, but I'll stick it in there and let you know.
Okay. Thanks so much.
There's a website called capital LAW Depot, capital DEPOT, and it has your living will as well as your healthcare proxy. And that's from putting in, let me just see if that, well, I put in New York, but it didn't. Let me see what this is saying here.
So what this says about New York is that you can use this document, but it has
Alabama.
special witnessing requirements. So you just have to go in the back and witness it the way that they specified for your state. It does not have to be notarized, but I think you probably have to have 2 witnesses.
Well, I've done my healthcare proxy before,
Yeah.
and I did it
So this
for my dad.
has to be notarized for Missouri, North Carolina, South Carolina, and West Virginia.
Okay. Because
And
we need 2 witnesses for the healthcare proxy also, so.
yes, always, yeah. And
Yeah.
for the state of New York, it says residents in California, Connecticut, Delaware, Georgia, New York, North Dakota, South Carolina, and Vermont must follow special witnessing rules.
Okay. This is so helpful. Thank you so much. I've been so
For
stressed about it.
Antonia,
For
I
further
posted.
information, please contact a social worker or patient advocate at your. I think you could go on the 5 Wishes website and probably access what you need. I know.
Okay.
I put
Christina, do
in.
you know anything else?
Yeah, I answered that question. Did you get a chance to read the answer in the recording of the classroom when we met? Because you posted that question in our chat and I wasn't able to answer it live. And so I went ahead and answered it in the Facebook group like I normally do under when I post the recording. And so I'm just going
Okay.
to read you what it says. While New York does not have a law governing living wills, the Court of Appeals, New York's highest court, has stated that living wills are valid as long as they provide clear and convincing evidence of your wishes. If you are 18 years of age or older, you may express your wishes in writing about your health care by signing a living will. There is no standard living will form, and you can download the form. I put it in the chat there. A living will is a written declaration of your healthcare wishes. In your living will, you can leave specific instructions about medical treatment you may or may not want when you are no longer able to decide for yourself. A living will serves as evidence of your wishes. So I put a link in the chat about a document that you can complete. So that's as close as it's going to get. So I think that your advance directive includes your living will and your healthcare proxy. So I get kind of mucked up on all of that too. So as long as you have your wishes clearly stated, you can certainly fill out that form and then have your 2 healthcare proxies, and that would suffice. And that's what Suzanne had mentioned. It's just a little different language. But yeah, take a look at that, and in the Facebook, there's that language again that you can take a look at it. I looked it all up and put it in there, so hopefully that'll be helpful.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks for the reminder about the Facebook group. I don't go to it as often as I
Oh,
should.
that's okay. I'll try to remember in the future when I teach classes, when people ask questions in the chat, I'll try to tag you because I'm not sure how many people are
Oh
looking at
yeah,
the
that would be
replay.
helpful. That'd be
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. So
Thanks
take a peek at
everybody.
that.
Thanks so
You're
much.
welcome. You're
Has
welcome.
anybody else used this form before? Because I
Yeah.
use it a lot. Okay. It's really great. And I think that Suzanne has one that I haven't seen yet, but is supposedly even better.
Mhm.
But it says right in the beginning of this, and most that I have found institutions do like accept this. They all know what it is. But it says here, 5 Wishes is the first living will that talks about your personal, emotional, and spiritual needs as well as your medical wishes. And I mean, it goes on. I'm not going to read it all to you. But then it also lists 42 states that it's legal in. I think the only thing with it is that the witness that signs this living will should not, correct me if I'm wrong, Christine, they can't be the same person that signs the healthcare they can't be a healthcare proxy. So
Correct.
your healthcare proxy can't witness your living will. It has to be someone separate. Am I correct in that?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's a conflict. Yeah. And
Yeah.
you know, the 5 wishes is amazing. And the thing that I love about the 5 wishes is that you can complete it electronically.
Yeah.
And then you can change it. It makes it super easy. But also, you know, Doula Givers has created the 9 choices document, and that's free to the public, free to the community. If you haven't taken a look at that, it actually goes even deeper into that. Compassion and Choices has a lovely advanced care document as well. So it's actually even more robust. But really, what I have found, if you're really wanting to just get to the nuts and bolts of your advanced care directive, go to your health and welfare, the form on the website. It's just the nuts and bolts. If you really want to do the deeper dive, you know, there's that the 9 choices and the 5 wishes are super good, and the advanced the compassion and choices has amazing resources on that as well. You know, I can't remember what famous person was it, Elizabeth, um, oh, someone, I can't remember, some famous person didn't have their advanced care directive and their living will done. And they actually just wrote it on a napkin and they found it after they passed away. So ultimately, you know, it can be just something really simple and just sign it and maybe have a witness sign it. That should be enough. But, you know, making it more formal, I think is helpful. Here in the state of Idaho, I'm not sure what it's like in other states, but there is on the health and welfare website, you actually need to register your advance directive to the state, and then it goes into this big database. And I think especially Idaho's pretty rural in some areas, and so when EMS is called, they can go to this database. Hopefully, if everything's working, so that the EMS can look up right away to see what your end of life wishes are. You know, it's not perfect, but I think it's helpful to be able to check into that. And when you guys, so right now we're just kind of touching the surface of the advanced care planning. That's, you know, that's just only one small portion of what we do as end of life doulas. But when you get into your care consulting piece, you'll take a much deeper dive and you will, I promise, become the expert of all of this. This is just kind of scratching the surface. So again, just, you know, pause a little bit, allow yourself to just kind of step into the space of, you know, completing your end of life doula certification, and then begin to really do a deep dive with the elder care or the care consulting piece. Much more involved and specific. And then again, you're just going to be an expert in your state, and people are going to want to go to you because you're going to be so knowledgeable. So just take a breath. It's okay. You're gonna get all the information that you need. You don't have to know it today to pass your exam and finish your end of life certification. So yeah, you're going to get way more information in the care consulting piece. So it's okay. It's okay if we don't have all the answers, all the questions are the answers today. So Heather, I see you. Good
Oh.
to see you.
Yeah, I have a question. I've run into several people, and when you tell them what you're doing, they love it. They think this is wonderful. The question keeps coming up is, and it's not for me to sell it, and I'm just trying to figure out how to approach this. Most people my age, closer, like in their 70s, they want to know what's the difference between being home dying and going to a hospital. A lot of people my age say, oh, no, I'm going to a hospital. That's where the drugs are. That's where, and you try to explain to them about hospice or hospice nurses and caregivers and what they'll be doing, their role in a family situation at home. And it's kind of funny because there's a whole generation, or probably a couple of generations, of people that just say, no, I'm going to a hospital. I don't trust my family. I don't trust a caregiver at home. I don't want to be without. And so I that's come up a few times, and I mean, it's not for me to convince anybody one way or the other which way they want to go, but it is like you said, you need information. You need the information so you can present it to them, and they can say, "Oh, well, I'll think about that." Because most people, especially my age, are just hardline. Nope, going to a hospital. That's it. They've got the drug cart. They have, and you're like, "Oh, okay." So they don't see a gentle side of dying. They think that it'll all be provided in a hospital. So anyway, I'm just kind of curious if anybody else has run into that. And
Great, great question, Heather. So if someone were to say that to me, I would open the conversation of, um, finding out exactly why are they hesitant about dying at home. It sounds
yeah,
like family caregivers, that probably, a lot of those decisions are made in haste because it's based on fear, right? So they don't know. So especially with hospice, a lot of people have these misconceptions of like, oh my gosh, my mom went on hospice and she died. They killed them because they gave her these medications, right? We hear that a lot. But also, it's really, for me, I would look at that as an opportunity for education and reminding our people that we did this 100 years ago. Everybody died at home. And so I would just open up that conversation of like, we're in a state of remembering that everybody died at home, and now we have hospice. And so hospice can provide all of the things that you need so that you can be comfortable and die peacefully in your home. And really begin to have that conversation of, what would you want your death to look like? Would you want to be surrounded by your loved ones? Would you want to be supported? Would you like to die in your own bed, or would you like to be in the hospital having all these tubes and noise and sounds? And, I think that sometimes decisions are made in haste based on fear, because there's this underlying fear of what that might look like. And so, really beginning to ask them, if you had a choice, would you want to die at home or in the situation, and tell them what that's like? I think also reminding them, again, going back to, I bet your mom or dad, especially when someone is 70 or 80, maybe they lost their mom or grandmother, and they might have a memory of a family member dying at home. And how was that experience for them? Was it scary for them? That might be triggering that response for them to have more support to go into the hospital. So I think really taking some time to kind of like, getting under the hood to kind of figure out, where is that coming from? And then
right.
really, and you're going to shine, Heather, because you're going to be able to say, gosh, an end of life doula is very similar to a birthing doula, right? Birthing doulas help mom and baby before, during, and after. And then a death doula helps, you before, during, and then being able to support your loved ones after. Remembering that death is nothing to be afraid, but we have to have steps taken in place to be able to support people at the end of life. I always go back to that. It's like, we know how to do this. We've been dying at home for years. So what has
Mm.
happened? Why have we medicalized death? Why have we gotten to this place where everyone wants to die in the hospital? So I think it's just giving you a beautiful opportunity to say, gosh, let's create an environment. I don't know. I think sometimes it's a decision based on fear, and then when they have the knowledge, like, oh no, you've got a daughter that is willing to step up, maybe asking your children, would you be willing to support me? I think I've shared in this group before, like, we have three boys, two are married, and then and so I'm kind of feeling it out, right? I'm like, which daughter-in-law is going to be doing my like who's going to be whopping my bottom? I'm not sure yet. The jury's still out, right? So, and I'm pretty private. Like I don't want my boys taking care of my personal care, right? So I'm kind of feeling out the daughter-in-laws. My one daughter-in-law, she has we have our first grandbaby, and she's 18 months old, and she'll change her diaper, and she doesn't use wipes. And I'm like, I want to be wiped. And so am I going to choose this daughter-in-law? I mean, she's a great mom, but she just, anyway. So I think about this stuff, right? I think about this stuff. I'm kind of like, who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? And so, so because when we're dying, there's that state of vulnerability, right? We're going to lose all control. We're going to lose our control of our bowels and bladder. And, am I going to be kept clean? I have some chin hairs. Like, who's going to take care of that? Like, I'm really, like, I tell my husband, like, you've got to not let this stuff grow. You got to help me out. And so, just stuff like that. Because and some people are like, it's whatever, but I've seen women with hair, and it's like, oh, let's touch that up a little bit, just I want to die with dignity. I want to be clean. And so I'm having conversations with my loved ones, and I think what happens is that creates a space within in our own personal sphere of getting to know one another at a deeper level. I think that people's families may really want to care for their loved ones, but it's an ongoing conversation. Sorry, I went off the rails on that,
Oh,
but
that's okay. It's such a personal thing, and I've talked to so many people, and well, of course, like I say, my age, we've just been programmed that you go to the medical staff, and they'll take care of it. And then my sister just blew me away the other day because she almost died last fall, and I was kind of her caretaker. And so anyway, she says, "Oh my God, what you did for me, I couldn't have asked my family, my son to do." And I said, "Don't worry about it. I was glad to do it." I said, because the hospital wouldn't take her. And they said her insurance ran out. And I don't know how that ever happened. But anyway, she, yeah, so I ended up taking care of her at home, and she pulled through, and she's fine, and she's fine to this day. But she was like, "I cannot believe what you did." And I said, "Yeah, I definitely got a crash course that 1 month that the hospital wouldn't let you come back." And then they looked at her insurance and went, "Oh, we screwed up. Sorry. Yeah, she can come back." And then she had to go into a care facility to rehab for about 2 months. But anyway, she was fine. But the other day, out of nowhere, she just said, "I'm thinking about all the things you've been sharing with me. And, I have everything done and my pulse, and I've got everything written out, and everything's on the refrigerator, and it's ready for the fire department should anything happen." And then all of a sudden she says, "And I've changed my mind. I do not want to die at home." And I went, "What?" So I was really surprised. And she said, "Maybe it's because I've been sick ever since I was a child. I had asthma and allergies, and she had so many things that she was always under medical care." And so she said, "I trust the medical care and the care system more than I trust my family." And I was like, "Oh, okay, well, here we go." So yeah, and it's not for me to convince her one way or the other, where she wants to ever go. But, but I thought, that's my sister. Oh my God, are you sure you don't want to be at home? And then she says, "Yeah, but you can't be my doula and be my caretaker, can you?" And I was like, oh boy. And I could just feel the load kind of coming on me. And I went, oh, no, we got to keep some boundaries and distance here. But yeah, I've talked to so many older people, and they just, were so trained to run to medicine
yeah,
and go
yeah.
to hospitals, and doctors are gods, and oh my God, they'll either save you or they'll cure you of something. And so anyway, it's just kind of a dilemma, but it keeps popping up, and I keep hearing people saying this, and so that's why it's on my mind a lot. And yeah, well, I haven't started dreaming about it yet, so I guess I'm okay.
I love it. I always like to give people, like when I talk to people, I do a lot of, people ask me what I do and, and I throw this out there, do you have plan A or A, B, or C? Do you want to die at home? That's plan A. Well, let's figure out how to make it happen. If that's not possible, then let's go to plan B. Is there a facility? Or can you die at home and be able to hire caregivers or something like there's like all those solo agers. I just met with a client yesterday. She has no one. She is planning to die at home, and we're working on a plan to make that happen for her. And so ultimately we are having conversations about if something does happen, are you open to going to some facility where you can get some extra support? She said no. And I said, okay, well, we need to really work on how we can make this happen for you. You might end up having 24-hour care. And she said, that's fine. She has the financial means to do that if needed. She's doing fine now, but I think really having these conversations way over here is super helpful. And I think that it's and getting it down in writing, and some people don't have the financial means at all. And so that's a different conversation altogether. So great, Heather, you're doing it. Good job.
Well, thank you.
You're
Okay,
welcome.
I'll sign off here.
Okay, thank you. I saw a question. Tana had said, how do we submit completed forms like the verification of hours? Will it require a digital scan? You can, if you want. So in the Facebook group, there is a form for how with your verification of hours. Actually, if you go back to module 1, during one of those sections, it'll say bedside hours, and there'll be a link on to you can print that out, and then you can complete it. It's all self-reported, so you don't need anyone to sign it for you. And then you can either take a picture of it and email it, or you can scan it and email it after you complete it. Yeah. Does that sound? Do you have a question? Do you have any other additional questions on that? Let me unmute you.
I was just wondering about whether I had to fax it or mail it. It's already complete. I printed it and completed it. I just didn't know how to get it. Do we have to email it to support?
Yep, support at Doula Givers. And wait, do it after. Don't submit your bedside hours until after you complete complete all the modules. Make sure that you go through and complete all the modules. You take your exam, and it's going to say congratulations, and then that's when you submit your bedside hours. And once you have completed your bedside hours, you've taken your test, and then you're going to get your certification for the CEOLD. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I have it ready to submit, but I'll hold it.
Perfect. Yeah. They'll just, I think that they would appreciate that. I think I was telling everyone, yeah, submit your bedside hours. And they're like, no, they have to take the test first. So yeah. So yeah, take your exam, and then just make sure to, I think there was a question about how do we complete, I think that was Trina. So it does seem, it seems kind of, it's just it'll kind of prevent you from taking the exam if you don't have every single page marked complete. So just make sure that you go through all of those. And yeah. Great question. Thank you. Yeah, I'm so glad you already got your bedside hours done. Congratulations. That's awesome. Awesome. Okay. Jesse, good to see you. Hello. Oh, hang on just one second. Let me ask you to unmute, see if that'll work. Hello. I hear you.
There.
Hi. Yeah. Hi.
Bad internet morning. I've been kicked out of the meeting twice. So, okay. First of all, just an observation. You're great. That whole thing about the chin hair and everything, that is great. And I'm really going to miss these Fridays. So, so along with the homework, that was great for me because I already had like my advance directive and all that in place along with but I'd lost both the executors of my estate last year. So I really needed to get back to the attorney to get that squared away. And then I'll have to change my healthcare proxies. And so that really needed to be done and been bugging me. So now I called the attorney. So that was great because in California, you have to have like witnesses for certain things, and they can't be the healthcare proxies and different things. But so anyway, that and the other thing about that is when I first did this, gosh, quite a few years ago, it was kind of, but with this class, it's all making more sense to me. Because of what I have to go the class and what I need to do for myself anyway, I'm getting more knowledge about it and paying more attention, I guess, this time around. So that class is very good for me. So I had some time to also start the elder care course because I really want to get that done. Because both my parents are in their, they're 96. So, and my mom is a caregiver for my dad. He's got almost getting to late stage dementia. So anything I'm trying to pick up and help her with, because she's really with it, but still anything that I could help her with, of course. But I've completed 2 of them now, and I really enjoy Suzanne's voice. She's got such a calming voice, and what I've been doing is printing out the transcript of the class and then highlighting and making notes, because it's a little bit different than the doula class. So, but yeah, so that's pretty much all I had to say, other than I'm really going to miss these Fridays. So,
Oh, thank you, Jesse. I'm so proud of you. I can't wait for you to just help those vets up in Northern California. I'm really proud of you. I'm excited.
yeah, I am. I'm excited too. I did have one more thing, and maybe this
Sure.
shouldn't matter, but in passing the test, I'd like to know how do we find out if we missed any? I mean, I guess I just want to know if I got a question or a choice wrong so that I can go back and for my own, make sure I know that. Is
Yeah.
there any
So
way?
I don't know. I know that I think that there was an option for you to review, excuse me, your answers right after you took the exam. I think that there was a button that said, "Would you like to review?" I think, but I don't know if you can do that now that you've
No.
already clicked out of
Yeah.
that. I would maybe ask that question to support at Julie Givers. I'm
Okay.
not sure if they might be able to help you with that, but I think right after you take the test, for all of those that are still waiting to take the test, you can I think it says, you can review your answers and go back. So yeah, so maybe, but
You can
send,
review them, but they're not necessarily going to tell you if it's a wrong answer at that point. That's where
yeah,
support might come in, huh?
they might. Yeah, you
Okay.
can ask them
Hey,
I
that
guess
question.
it's not, I mean, I passed, but I still, if I didn't
yeah.
do 100%, I want to know, where I goofed up. Yeah.
Yeah. I would maybe ask them to see if they still have access to that. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Good
All right.
stuff,
Thank you.
Jesse. Yeah. Thank you. Good to see you. All right, Veronica, good morning.
Um, okay, so this is kind of important because Heather, they will not let your sister die at the hospital. Her insurance will run out, and they will force her to either go home or go to a nursing home or whatever word you want to use for it. But yeah, they won't keep her in the hospital to die. They will send her somewhere else. Okay, so let everybody know that, put that out to the world that in spite of how wonderful our Medicare is, they do not pay for you to stay at the hospital to die.
Yes, I have to jump back in here. Yes, she had 4 doctors at her hospital go to bat for her. They stayed on the phone for 3 hours fighting
Oof.
for her to stay in the hospital. And Aetna said, absolutely not. And
Yeah.
so when we finally got down to it, we found out the family had told someone in the hospital, which they referred to the insurance, and found out that they said, oh, she has health care, or she has care at home. Well, it was me going to visit, and turned into a month of care, but she still wasn't healthy enough. And the doctors kept saying, no, she needs to stay in the hospital. We don't know what's going on, after they had already fixed her gastric bypass leak. But anyway, she started at home. She started bleeding again. And then the hospital kept refusing her to let her in. And the medic said, hey, listen, by law, you take her. And so they put her back in, and then they were committed. They were really committed to helping her. And so, yeah, they got the leak fixed and they were fine. And then all her stats started changing, and they said, okay, now we understand. So then she did go to a care home for a couple of months. But anyway,
Don't sound
yeah.
sad.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That must be on your end. Okay, I
Oh,
just want
yeah,
to say,
that's outside.
because the insurance, yeah, she had plenty of insurance, but one male nurse twigged on it and said, I don't understand what's going on. How come she was thrown out of here first, and then so soon after she had the surgery, all these doctors went to bat for her. And then I said, well, I've been kind of the caretaker, and the nurse twigged into it, and he says, wait a minute, are you her health giver, caregiver at home? And I said, no, I came to visit, and I've been there a month. And he said, oh, so he went and checked, looked in the computer, and he said, that was the glitch, that somebody in the family said, oh, don't worry, she's got help at home. And so the insurance just, that's it. You're out of the hospital. You're out of everything. So anyway, it was just a weird, bizarre thing and a glitch. And yeah, it was just about that time when that poor CEO from United was shot. And it was getting really weird. So everybody was walking on eggshells, and then the healthcare started stepping up again. I think they got afraid. So anyway, okay. Thank you, Veronica.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you both. Yeah, every situation is different, right? Every situation requires, like, yeah. So yeah, every situation is different, and keeping in touch, I think, with the social workers, I think, is so important too. So just being mindful about getting all those things in place beforehand is so important. So yeah, Trina, good to see you. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Can you unmute? Let's see.
There we
There
go.
you are. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
So I just wanted to, based on this conversation, actually, a little bit, the people's hesitancy to die at home. I don't actually know if I can address that, but I want to address this super personal, and I don't know if that will help or not in people who are reluctant. Although, let me just start here. Mutual aid, I'm a huge fan and participant in mutual aid projects. And your situation, although, has its own peculiarities and kind of ironed itself out, but there are probably many doulas, even in this group here, who have situations with like close loved ones where you couldn't be the doula, but you have so much information and love actually for the patient, that I am interested in the idea of a mutual aid network between doulas to help care for each other's family members when we can't ourselves, in a like barter type of a way, not necessarily where someone has to have the financial means to hire a doula, which kind of moves me into the personal thing that I have been struggling out with whether or not I would share since the beginning. And I've shared some, I've in like our little breakout rooms. One of the things that caused me to take this course was a sense of, well, I've been on the mailing list since I think 2008 or whenever it started, like a really long time. I know that this is meant for me, but I have a complicated life. Two of my three children, I have, it's not honest to say that I've lost them, but it is not honest to say that I haven't lost them. From my oldest was hit by a car that on his 16th birthday and has a traumatic brain injury that is severe. And I have watched him be tortured every single day of his life for 23 years since then. And due to regrets that I had over my complete inability to know what to do when he was hit by the car, when my youngest started to struggle mightily, I quit my job and decided I was going to be a full-time social worker and save his life. And I did, only for a few years later, when I'm in complicated grief right now because I am trying to come to terms with a genetic delusional personality disorder that is becoming clear, and I am losing him in front of my face. And I was driven. Suicide isn't really probably anybody's why, but I feel a lot of life plans as they as happens have not worked, and I have been coming to terms with having absolutely nothing to give my family when we leave. And and I thought this is the only gift that I could give them, is to let them mourn. However, there is still this trick, which is that there are behaviors because of the brain injury and the delusions that could cause them to be denied access to me, or to be asked to leave a funeral, or to like literal physical violence between the brothers, because it's going to be horrifying for them when I die. And we have no family, no family. It's just my husband and I and the boys. That's it. So I took this course, and in the, like Antonia, like in the course of the home funeral, I came up with an entire plan so that my children will not have the trauma that I thought for sure that my death would cause. Like, I am so grateful. My point is that there is complex grief, and there are complicated families where families should not need to be embarrassed of the people that they love, to ensure that their loved ones can mourn them in the way that they need without having the police called or them asked to leave a funeral home. And I now know that I could have a full day. Every one of the children can have one day alone with me where they can spend that time with me and say goodbye. And they don't have to. I mean, I know that my specialty as we go forward is going to be complicated families, because that has been my life. And I'm any rate, the whole mutual aid thing, I'm going to do my time with a hospice house that cares for the dying homeless, so that I can sit with other mothers' children, um, so that there will be other mothers to sit with my children. And so if we could take that forward, like not even in my own personal like situation, like, but in general for each other, with our loved ones, it doesn't have to be complicated. They could just be stubborn. So thank you for your time. Sorry about the.
Don't you ever apologize, Trina. I just want to take a moment. And why is it that I cry every time when I'm with all of you? Um, I'm just deeply moved. Thank you for sharing that with all of us.
Also, I deeply need a grief, someone who is skilled at helping with complicated grief. I need that for me to be able to be of service. And, I've looked on the regular Psychology Today or whatever, but I've seen also all of our profiles on the Doula Giver thing. And I know that there are people with contacts and info that could reach out to me to help with that. Sorry, that done.
Thank you. So remind me again, Trina, are you on Facebook at all?
I am not.
Okay. I'm making myself a note um, I'm gonna just post in, because afterwards, after you guys graduate, we're gonna invite you to join this larger group called the Good Death, Good Life community, and there's just hundreds of doula givers out doing the work, as well as community members. And so I'm gonna post something in that group on your behalf, if that's okay. And then I'll ask doula givers to just send you those names, and then maybe you can reach out and connect. I love all of that. I want to, I hear you, I see you, and I think you're amazing. And I think this is, we never know how we get here. We never know why we get here. And I think that for me personally, I have received so many gifts, more than just being a doula giver. Like that was my thought, was just to be I just want to help people, at the end of life. But I've received so much more than that. And the biggest gift that I received is this gift of community, and in my own community, Trina, I realize as I have worked my networking group, or my I'm building a list of networking resource list. And what that has proved to me is I keep meeting these people. My husband and I are involved in several nonprofits in the area, and one of them is a nonprofit that supports widowed women. And I was just getting to know them, and I'll share a little personal. My husband has a cancer diagnosis, and he's fine, but it is like people keep showing up in my life, and I'm like, oh, I know why you're here. I know why you're here, because you're going to help me move through something really hard in the future. And I think that what we're creating here is building this beautiful community of, like, you're not ever going to have to do this alone, Trina, right? And so being vulnerable and just knowing that you have people. I'll just tell you, one of the doula givers that I graduated with, I don't know if she was in my cohort. I think maybe she was right after me, but she was actually in Alaska, and she developed such a strong community within the doula givers community. A doula giver actually went up to help her transition. That's what we do for one another. So just keep staying connected, and you are not alone. Yeah, we're here for you. Thank you so much. Beautiful, beautiful. I love it. Every time I come on here, I cry. Okay, so we are in our happy hour section, and I just want to thank everyone. Oh, so in the chat, looks like somebody's putting some grief stuff in there. Um, thank you, everybody. Oh, yeah, thank you guys. Yeah, so Friday, for the live semester group, Fridays, our last I think next Friday, I'll confirm and I'll put it in the chat. So so I think our last, just for the Doula Giver or the live semester, our last happy hour might be July 18th, but I'll confirm because then the graduation is the 22nd. I can't believe we're that close. So great. I see a lot of love in the chat and some great. Veronica put a grieving coach. Yay. Perfect. Okay, I'm seeing all sorts of love. So who's going to be who isn't if any we're going to go move into happy hour and we're going to break out into breakout rooms. So is everybody here on the call able to stay? If anyone needs to go, you can go ahead and sign off. Um, but it looks like everybody, thank you for coming who has to sign off. I always enjoy sharing time with you all. So it looks like, hi, Bernita, good to see you. I hope you're driving and please be careful. Okay, all right, keep your eyes on the road, girlfriend. Okay. And then okay, so is everybody staying? Okay, all right, let me count up. Please let me count out loud. Oh shoot, where'd it go? I don't know where I went. I hit a button and I disappeared. I'm back. Thank goodness I was able to get back. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Perfect. Okay, I think, Julia, yeah, you want to share a poem? Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Please do. And that'll help me figure out how many rooms. Yeah, please, Julia. Thank you. Good to see you. Hi.
Hi, this is just a poem that I shared at my dad's funeral. And I was just going through stuff because I'm tending to go back and go through I call it revisiting my dead. And I just wanted to share this because it reminded me about wanting to be really aware in this process and be really aware when we're with someone who's dying. But so I just wanted to share this poem with everyone. I want to remember how crystal clear the night was during this sacred time. How after I sang my father to sleep, I would stand outside and watch the full moon changing to a new moon. How I would stretch out my hands and feel the starlight flowing through my body. How the silence of the night comforted me. I want to remember how utterly human and earthy it is to die. I want to remember the courage it took for my father to face his own death. My father did not think of himself as a brave man, and there were times of fear, anxiousness, self-doubt, and anger. I want to remember witnessing my father learning to love himself not only when his life was active and productive, but loving himself when his body no longer supported his life. I want to remember the times of confusion, times when my father would be sitting on the side of the bed, overwhelmed by the enormity of the journey he was taking. It was my turn to hold him and rock him and tell him, all is well. I want to remember the days when the rain was streaming down my window, refracting my view of the outside world. Times of weeping and utter despair, times when I felt that I could not cope. I want to remember those loving and kind nurses and doctors, hospice folks, friends, family, and neighbors, each one offering gifts of wisdom, time, and love, supporting my father and us as we journeyed nearer and nearer to his death.
I want to remember all who sent love, prayers, light, energy, and brought peace to my father and my family. I want to remember a sweet time of seeing my mother kneeling by my father's bed, resting her head on his chest as he circled her with his arms. At that moment, the depth of their love filled the universe. I want to remember times when we threw death out the window, when my mother and I took my dad on a short ride over the country roads he so dearly loved. How my father's eyes were like a newborn baby's looking out at the world as if for the first time. How they soaked in every inch of the land and sky, every tree and every field. I want to remember how important family is to my father, how he rallied all of his strengths to greet his family, how it was important for him to be able to do the things so he would not be a burden to his family. I want to remember all my sisters and brother-in-law coming home, how they completed the circle, how my mother and father, how we created a sweet space of great beauty and love, how we sang and read stories, laughed and cried. I want to remember that we were wise midwives creating a loving and holy space for my father to die, how each of us blessed his journey. I want to remember the times that took all of our courage to witness Dad's struggle for breath. There were times each of us wanted to hide from the immenseness of it. I want to remember that at the end, there was a bubbling spring coming from deep within my father. And when he took his last breath, his spirit flew freely and joyfully to the heart of God. I want to remember this moment and the beauty of each of you. With your love and presence, you honor my father and family. In the end, I see that love is abundant and beauty is everywhere, and that our lives weave a pattern of light and joy out of suffering and darkness. There is nothing I want to forget about this holy time, and it is all good.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you. I just felt like sharing it.
Oh gosh, that's gorgeous. That I love that all is well. I love, I think little snapshots of memories that I've had myself, and it's just beautiful. It's beautiful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Sometimes it's hard to put all that stuff into words, and it seems to just capture that whole essence of that experience. It's beautiful. Thank you, Julia. We love it.
You're welcome.
Oh. Okay. There was one thing in the chat, Suzanne, who's already left, but she wanted me to share this. On the note of missing these Friday meetups, next Friday is my birthday. So, as much as she would like to spend it with you all, she might have the possibility of spending it with her father, which is unusual. So, please know that I will be with either with you either really or in spirit. I want you to all know that 59 is going to be an incredible year, and it's unusual for me to be this optimistic about a new personal year. And you guys, and this education is a huge part of that optimistic view. So I'm not sure that I will thank you over. So I'm sure I will thank you over and over again, but know that you guys are a recurring item on all of my gratitude lists. Be well. So wonderful, Suzanne. Happy birthday if we don't see you.